fan location, and we're here at Matsuricon 2012 with James Hatton.
Hello.
What have you been doing since we last caught you at SegoyCon last year?
A lot. I've done a lot of conventions. I changed format. I hit my big watermark of 1,000 comics. It's been a busy year for me.
And we recently discovered that your site got hacked. Can you tell us a little more about that instance?
That horrible week that is actually still going on. Yeah, I woke up one morning and I went and my Twitter, which I don't use that often, but I have one, and all of a sudden I had a bunch of people messaging me saying, your website is leading me to Hermione Granger adult material. What? So I go to my website and lo and behold, there's a clearly photoshopped picture of Emma Watson in various precarious. So all of my sites got hit with this PHP attacky bug virusy thing. It took me about 2 weeks to get In His Likeness back up to full speed. This is a warning to all people who own WordPress sites. Keep your site updated because there's lots of little flaws, and if people get to utilize them, they'll blow away. I still have sites, and I know we're going to talk about alt history. That site is still offline because of it, but we'll get to that in a minute. It was a bad couple weeks. I had to have HTML geniuses go to my website and be like, oh my God, what's going on here? After we fixed it once, we went back a week later and the whole site was blown away again. It was just over and over a problem. Yeah, hackers are bad.
Oh, geez. Well, your web series, In His Likeness, is a huge hit. Can you tell us more about it for those who may be unaware?
Yes, I can. For those who have never seen me do one of these fantastic interviews with you wonderful people, my webcomic In His Likeness is about talking dots. It started because I was doing webcomics and I legitimately don't have a lot of appreciable art skill, the pencil and pen, the ink and paper. So I do mine with simplistic circles. Let's take a book here, for example. They're all talking dots. The black dot's God, the red dot with horns is the devil. It's all mythological and pop culture-y, but it's based in writing because I'm a writer. I'm not an artist per se. So it has to be witty and quick and charming for you to just accept the fact that these are talking dots. I've been doing it 9 years, so there's lots of great stuff to read online, any end of mythology, and I really think it's a unique read.
All right, cool. You also have althistory.com. Can you tell us more about alt history?
I can, which the site is still, as I said, down from the big hack 2011, 2012. The idea was I was doing promotion. I was helping out a convention on the East Coast called the Steampunk World's Fair, which is one of the bigger steampunk conventions in New Jersey, or rather biggest on the East Coast. And so this idea is that if you take the wiki facts for the day, if you take some little factoid and you alter it so it's an alternate history version. I'm a big fan of sliders and Quantum Leap and alt history shows and conventions and things like that. That if you can make a little twisty joke about anything and make it really funny. And there's no real plot to it. There's no over arc. It's just, let me take something funny and let me twist it so it's amusing. It's supposed to be a laugh-a-day sort of affair. It's like I actually mailed the people who make those pull-a-day calendars, those things, like you get your office quote or crossword puzzle. I thought alt history would make a great idea for that, and that's generally what it's trying to be. Something on the web that you can go every day, get a little factoid about what happens, get a little chuckle, and you move on.
Sounds good. You have a new format for your web series. How have your readers responded to it?
So positively. I was worried. I'm going to show now to promote just real quick. This is the new book, Dot Witch Horror, which shows the format. It's full page. Anybody who's read my comic knows it used to be for the first 1,000 comics was all 4 panels. This is full page format, which allows me the opportunity to tell different kinds of stories. With the 4-panel format, I'm very locked into setup, punchline, 4 panels, it's done. With this, I can tell a longer story arc. I can introduce new mythologies. I can play with structure. It was really because I've evolved as a creator, I wanted to evolve my comic as well. And the fan base has been so receptive because now they feel that they're going to be able to get to meet new characters. And where maybe, I don't want to say IHL got stale, they love the idea that they can try something different. And I feel I'm giving them that in spades.
Cool. Being a fan of classic comics and geek culture, what's it like being a veteran of the webcomic industry and how does that stuff influence your work? And
The word veterans scares me. But I was on a Veterans of Webcomic panel at a show a couple years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I've been doing this 9 years. I guess I am. What's interesting is there's so much change. The webcomics industry, as much as it's an industry, has altered and morphed as time's gone on, where now instead of just static comics that were so much like Garfield or Sunday strips, now you have things that are interacting with the audience in very new and unusual ways. Things like, I know you see it everywhere, Homestuck, that's become a huge convention trend, and that comic is very different. It has auditory things, and it has flash portions, and there's animation. It's about as close to a cartoon as you get as a comic. And I find that the more we move forward, you're going to find more and more comics that online that are trying to utilize HTML and HTML5 and different concepts to attack other senses, where comics are generally eyes and brain. Now you're getting some ear, now you're getting some animation, and I love it. I love innovation, and I love trying to touch your reader in a different way.
I think that's one of the neat things about Homestuck is the navigation of the comic, that choose your own adventure, but it's really kind of a Hobson's choice kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
It's great. I love the concept. I don't have the time. If you want to stop reading webcomics, create a webcomic. I wish I had the real time to really dig into the archive, because I know it gets so in-depth. Yeah. But I do love that interaction. Touching your reader in such a dramatically different way is fantastic.
Yeah. All right. What is your take on the rise of so many comic books and movies being brought over to motion pictures and television series, and how do you think that transition is working?
I'm a big fan of anybody who knows about Deadpool is a great person. Like, that's a great thing. I love a good comic book movie. I thought Avengers was better than Dark Knight Rises. Let's have that fight. I'm not such a purist. I mean, I have my long boxes of Marvel comics. I've been reading X-Men since I was knee-high. I love that there's so much out there for you to be absorbed by. I don't mind that it doesn't hit canon perfectly or that it touches everything so specifically. Just showing people these awesome stories, these epic stories of warriors, and then even some of the indie stuff like Scott Pilgrim or Kick-Ass, where some of even the indie stuff that never would have made the big market before is now getting movies. That's fantastic. I think anything that can lead somebody to trying out comics for the first time is the greatest thing in the universe. It's one of the greatest formats, and it's completely American started, which I think is amazing.
All right. Are there any other upcoming projects that you can discuss with your fans?
I have one. I usually, for the last couple years, I would come up with these avant-garde ideas. I had Rorschach for about a year, which was this ink blot comic. And then I had S-Flicks, which was my reviewing bad movies. I realized that I have creative ADD, where I do something for about 3 months and then I get bored with it. So I made the decision last week. I'm starting it up. I have a website called Voxhole. That's voxhole.net, where I'm going to do all of these things. I'm going to take my ADD creativity, and as long as I'm putting out something a week, one thing a week, it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you'll get a bad movie review. Maybe you'll get a Rorschach. Maybe you'll get a special comic that I didn't do with IHL. It'll be something new and interesting in me and my unique voice online. So that should be coming out within the next month. I just installed the WordPress, and hopefully the site will be ready. And you can go in if you're just interested in seeing just comic stuff. You'll be able to go look under that tag and just see comic things, or rants, and it'll be rants, or fan fiction, and it'll be fan fiction, or smut, and it'll be smut.
All right, awesome. Any final words you want to get out there?
I would love for you people who have gone and looked at In His Likeness before and been like, dots and 4 panels, okay? Check out the new site. In His Likeness Universe is an evolution of creativity, it's an evolution of my process, and I think that it is something unique and something new that people are really, if you didn't like the 4-panel format, give a try to the full-page format, because it's much more traditional, but at the same time, I get to do that same meta humor where I get to kind of recognize the audience, and I think it's very unique. So definitely check out the new thing.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for your time.
Guys, thank you. I'm always happy to see you, and I guess next time will be Segoy.
Probably, yeah.
Great.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.